On the weekend of April 14th, 1,200 women from all over the nation gathered at UCLA for a lesbian conference.
I get charged by the energy of women getting together. I love women. I love women. I love their hostility. I love their love. I love, and so it all seems to be good, healthy energy.
And I found out my group could do my job. Did you get it? Come on in? Okay. Everybody needs milk.
It's good to see you. Oh, it's beautiful. It's getting even more beautiful. Talk to you later.
And his ways and his son is that you repent. And all we can do is warn you. Because you try to out-sing, make more noise, and ignore the truth of God. God don't like it.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned, and it has been 2 weeks since my last confession. And oh, Father, I have sinned horribly in thought, word, and deed.
Tell me, my child, what is the nature of your sin?
Father, I committed an unlawful act of intercourse.
Who was the devil?
Well, it wasn't with any devil. It was with an angel.
A what?
Well, Father, what I'm trying to say is that when I made love with another woman.
Oh, my God! Oh, my child, you have committed a dreadful sin. Oh, child, your body was not made for that.
Father,
tell me.
What must I do for forgiveness?
My mind is foggy right now. First, tell me in explicit detail exactly what you did.
Friday night's entertainment also included Beth Elliott, a pre-operative transsexual. Those sisters who knew of Beth's background and history did not want him to take the stage.
Some sisters feel it's being railroaded. Does that mean that we want to discuss the issue? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you want to sit here and discuss the issue. Okay? All those who do want to go on with the program immediately, please raise your
The following were comments made by Robin Morgan the next morning.
Now, last night, at this conference's first session, women let a man divide us, pit woman against woman, and in the process exploit the entire lesbian conference to become the center of attention and boost his opportunistic career. The same man who 4 years ago tried to pressure a San Francisco lesbian into letting him rape her, the same man who single-handedly divided and almost destroyed the San Francisco DOB chapter, the same man who, when personally begged by women not to attend this conference, replied that if he were kept out, he would bring federal suit against these women on the charges of discrimination and criminal conspiracy. This is the man some women defended last night. The organizers of the conference pled ignorance, that they didn't realize the issue would be divisive of women when they invited him. Yet they knew his San Francisco history, and it is too late, sisters, for such ignorance. Those same fine women who have for months worked day and night to create and organize this event here, in one stroke, by inviting this man, have directly insulted their San Francisco sisters he previously tried to destroy, and have indirectly insulted every woman here. I'm afraid that they owe us a public apology on the grounds of divisiveness alone. My point is that if even one woman last night felt he should go, that should have been sufficient. Where the man is concerned, we cannot be separate fingers. We have got to be one fist. Now, if transsexual males are oppressed, let them band together and organize against that oppression, instead of leeching off women who have spent entire lives as women in women's bodies.
Well, like what I saw last night with the transsexual issue, you know, there seemed to be a huge division between the super radical right, left, you know, as far as just super women's segregation kind of thing, as opposed to kind of a humanist approach. And I believe in segregation temporarily, you know. I really feel that in order for gay women to get themselves together, we've got to, it's like the black movement, you know, they had to establish their own identity, that kind of thing. That's really good. Do you think that you were kind of then offended by the controversy over that you didn't think it was worthy of a controversy? Well, I can understand where it comes from. I was pissed off last night, you know, because I know Beth Elliott, and do you think Beth Elliott is a woman? Yes, I do, in mind. Maybe not in body at this point, but in mind, definitely.
I think, personally, that the issues that have been involved are not earth-shaking. The matter of the transsexual, right. To me, that's a rhetorical issue. You know, it can't have an ultimate resolution, excepting to be a point around which for women to focalize their own feelings. You know, I don't think there's any ultimate solution to whether a transsexual can qualify as a lesbian, right. Because they're both just terms.
Right.
But women find out from this event happening how they feel, and I think that this has a lot to do with what the convention can be for, rather than it being for small groups or other formalized activities that were scheduled.
I know.
We've spent a lot of time moving around and a lot of time getting together in small groups, and very little time of me hearing what socialists were saying, because I was busy being a mother.
Did you tell your daughter that you were gay? And I said, no. Now, my daughter's 20 years old. Now, my daughter knows I'm gay, but I have never put the word to it. Because, remember, I grew up in the archaic time when you didn't talk about such things, when you didn't say, you know, this is the way it is, kid, and like it or not. This is what I am. So my daughter's 20 years old, and I've never said to her, I am a lesbian, though she lived in the same house with my lover and I for 15 years.
What kind of problem?
We get so uptight about lesbianism as such, but it's a liberal kind of attitude about life more than anything else. And if you have a liberality about life, and you let that liberal attitude spill over into your children, they don't get so uptight about the whole thing. And this is the way I tried to raise my daughter, is that, you know, life is full of all different kinds of people. The world is a really groovy place to live in, and, you know, you meet all kinds of people, and they really don't get uptight about it. I don't think she's uptight about it. I think today, if I really went to her and said, you know, this is the way it is, kid, she'd say, hey, Mom, that's fantastic. You really groove on that, huh? And I would say, yes.
I've got a deal with a 13 and a 12-year-old. They're females. And they're really going, that's a heavy time of sexual identity crisis anyway. And how do I deal with it as a gay mother?
With a 13-year-old young man whose father is not living in the house, you know, and that's very heavy too, you know, that I came in and his father's not living there, and he thinks somewhat because of me, and that he's, you know, that he's into junior high, and you know, Mr. Macho and the whole number, you know, and like, and he comes on to me, you know, as a 13-year-old young man. I can't accept the fact that boy is a kid, you know. I mean, he doesn't come on to me as a kid, you know, as a young man, and he like tries out his whole, you know, 13-year-old sexuality on me, you know, on just like how he is, and you know, his whole trip, and like, and we go round and round a lot about that, you know. A year? Yeah. It's been a year since Nancy and I've been together, and it's been, his father's been living with us up until a few months ago, so like, his father's just recently been out of the house, and like, so he also has a role now that he's the oldest in the house, and he's the man of the house, you know. And a lot of responsibility is put on him because he's the oldest of four, you know, and, I mean, he has and I think he's perhaps the one that's having the most difficult time with the whole thing. And because he's had a father around for 13 years.
And just being 13, though, is like a can of worms right in itself. You know, I hear you say 13, and it's like when you're starting to really develop in a whole lot of new, different kinds of ways, and you're really breaking out and finding out who you are in relationship to yourself and the outside world, outside of your family, more and more all the time. And when your 13-year-old son comes home this stomping, you know, macho thing, you know, you can't just say, ugh, get away. You know, you have to be able to deal with that. But God, it's really hard sometimes when he's starting.
Not even at 13, at 8.
Child care is in a building right in back of us here. If any mothers with their children could go right through these doors into Kirkhoff Lounge.
Can we talk to you a little bit about your impressions of the conference? And
I'm very high. Everything might burn.
Just because of the Lesbian Mothers Conference that's coming up, that we've organized out of this thing. Not because of anything that happened at this conference as such, but the lesbian mothers got together and we're going to do a conference of our own, taking care of our own needs and doing it with our kids the way we want it to have happen.
How would that be? Do you have an image in your mind of the structure and the form?
It'll just have workshops, and kids will take an active part in it, and it won't be just child care to get rid of the kids. It'll be the kids sharing their experiences. Older kids are perfectly capable of talking about kids' liberation, the oppression of kids, what it feels like to grow up in a lesbian home, all sorts of interesting things, and just doing things like kite building. Wouldn't it be fun to go out and fly kites with kids, you know, and just get into, just let the kid inside of you just play and be?
I'm going to sing in a minute. Okay. Next thing is there is going to be a fantastic women's studies conference also at Sacramento. I mean, if you haven't heard, Sacramento's where it's at. However, LA is where people know how to entertain each other. And if everybody let me do it, I'd do it. Y'all? Okay. I have about 1 million things to say before I start this. And the first one is kill that goddamn light there. Thank you. I spent the afternoon with a witch.
And it seems to be able to be heard in this place, or to have any validity, you have to be a superstar. You have to be a Robin Morgan. You have to be a Kate Millett. You have to be someone who is someone. And there was a confrontation or some sort of interaction that went down between a sister who was trying to talk about class, who thought that when Robin Morgan said, you have to be a feminist, if you're a feminist, you don't have to be a socialist feminist or whatever. You're a feminist, that says everything. And the sister stood up and she said, I am concerned about class, I am concerned about race, this is important to me. And it wasn't dealt with. There was this incredible interaction that went down where everything but class was talked about. We talked about transsexuals, we talked about poetry, and it was like a prize fight between an unimportant amateur and a heavyweight. And I think that if this conference is going to take itself seriously, we have to understand that this society cannot be explained by saying, I'm a feminist, that takes care of everything. A Rockefeller woman can be a feminist. She can say she is a feminist. That says nothing. It means that you have to, let me finish. It means you have to think of yourself in other ways. Consciousness is not come by putting a label on yourself. Consciousness means that you think about the specific issues in this country that affect us. And race and class and imperialism and other things of that sort are those issues.
When you return to your cities and your jobs and your CR groups and your bars, remember your black sisters and do this for yourselves and for us. Every time a racist act is done in your presence, don't let it pass. When you're in your office or wherever it is that you are and something is done or said which is derogatory to me, your sister, I want you to stand up for me. I only have one more sentence to add to that, and that is, if your consciousness and your commitment to sisterhood is real, you'll do this.
And that to say that all women are a class against all men is an oversimplification of a very difficult and involved social system. I don't want to run down a heavy Marxist trip about this and that classes and contradictions. I just want to say that we have a responsibility to ourselves to understand who we are and what we are doing to each other. And it is not simple enough to say we are all women.
We are Family of Woman. We are the only band of musicians in the world to demand that we be billed on posters, flyers, press, on any media as lesbian feminists. Our political motivation for doing that is strong. To be a closet band is invalidating to all lesbian women. We operate on the belief that our music is a moving energy force that we can give to women, that our music can touch women's souls, the love, the anger, the sexual, that our music is important because lesbians are vital. We came here to share our ideas and music with you. We found that Kate and Robin and Rita had been grandly publicized, while we were mentioned here and there as a band from Chicago. And nobody took our correction of that seriously when it was made loudly and in public. We lost $1,500 in jobs to come here and spent $500 in expenses because we had to be here. We were scheduled to play at the same time as another LA band at the same time slot. would Kate and Robin have been scheduled to speak at the same time? Are we only lesbian musicians? For 4 months, the organizers had known that we were coming to Los Angeles, but suddenly at 11:40, we were told that we had 20 minutes left. They knew we needed 2.5 hours to complete our presentation. But time had been lost on discussing the presence of a man on our stage. Time had been lost because childcare was not planned tightly enough. Time had been lost because we were using the man's time and space controlled by men who would love to see us at each other's throats last night. We recognize with compassion the planning and work that Los Angeles women have done. But with whom do you ally yourselves? If you give the only lesbian band in the world 45 minutes to jig and leave, if we are that secondary to your political needs, if you are willing to become your sister's enemy because of the buildings that men control, if you see well-known feminists who have published as more important than sisters who are dying every day because of their commitment, we are forced to re-examine our belief that women cannot be enemies, that lesbian women are always allies. You become our enemies when you validate the man's rape of our time because it's your time. Our compassion and capacity for understanding that enemy actions come from oppressed allies stops. We are not liberals, we are angry dykes. We have waited in line in the straight world for the table scraps. We will not wait in line in the lesbian world.
Oh, I'm finally going steady.
It's always hard to see the result of something when you're right in the middle of it.
Right.
Like this, I don't think this festival is going to be the changing point of the lesbian movement, but each festival we have adds, a whole new change. Like we go along, we're going along, and all of a sudden, like we hit a brick wall, and it shifts our energy. It sends it to another direction. And in the middle of we're all freaking out saying, but it's a shift in energy.
Don't be discouraged. This conference is a lesson. We know better next time. It's a real lesson,
You think the thing that would fix it is the completely different organization? Is that what you...
Yeah, and I want to repeat, it's not the organizers' fault. They have no other models, you know? But it's a lesson to those of us who want to go one step ahead. And I think they're going to be right along. They've learned a hell of a lot, too, you know?
We are bringing in the dawn.
This tape was produced by Vulva Video. For more information, you can write to us in care of 606 Venetia Avenue, Venice, California, 90291. That's Vulva Video, 606 Venetia Avenue, Venice, California, 90291.